So when I was designing Rock Brokers, getting the first prototype out there, there was a part that I knew was not the right solution. It was a really sloppy UI, but I just wanted to get the game out there and get it play tested, so I went with it. But now that I'm going to Dice Tower West, I definitely need a better solution. And I think I might have figured it out. So this is my box of game design stuff. There's all kinds of good things that I've collected over the last few years, and actually so much that there's 2 of them now. But we're looking for a very specific thing out of here that I know I have. We just need it. Cards, bags, blank dice, chess pieces, checkers pieces, cards. Oh, here's something. Yeah. Those are battleship pieces, but there's not as many as I thought there were, so we might have to do something else. This is an old game of Life that I got from a garage sale years ago for like $1, because I thought, oh, the money will be a good thing to have. Turns out I don't make too many games with paper money. I thought the buildings might be cool too, but again, I haven't come up with anything for those. But if you remember playing Life, you got little cars and a bunch of little people. And that's what we're going to need today. When you collect a rock in Rock Brokers, there's a bunch of different processes that can be done to it. And the processes do 2 things. First, they increase the value of the rock so you can sell it for more money. The other thing is the commissions all depend on what processes you've done to the rock. For instance, this one, your obsidian needs carving and your quartz needs annealing. And there's so many different things that you can do, and they all are different based on which rock you have. And the way that I was tracking it initially is you would complete a process and you get one of these little chits and you'd put it on your rock right there. So these are just printed on some sticker paper that I stuck to a piece of cardboard cereal box. But this is the way that I was tracking what processes have been done to your rocks. And you'd pick them up and move them back and forth onto the board, maybe off the board. These are the processing materials over here. But imagine 4 players and 5 rocks, and it's just a shower of processing chips. It's not going to work. We definitely need another way to track what has been done to which rock.
To start with, if I'm going to redesign the player boards, I'll add some more info for the players to have handy right in front of them. Each rock in your storage could potentially have 5 different processes done to it, 7 if you count the 2nd and 3rd levels of polish. To avoid cross-referencing with another chart in another location or a player aid card, I'll put all that info laid out around each storage spot. On top of that, we can have the monetary effect right here with each rock too, again to avoid cross-referencing a player aid. Now the value increase for each process is listed right there next to each rock. Next, I dropped in a version number. I've been adding those to all my game pieces to make tracking of which version everything is on easier. For the bottom section of the storage board, I'm going to list all the rocks and what processes can be done to them. I'll split it up between common and rare rocks, then list each rock's base sell value and put icons for each available process. All that's left then is some fiddling with the spacing around everything, which I'll spare you the details.
Well, that took entirely too long, of course, but that's what you get when you have a little bit too much of the design OCD, stupid fiddling with 1/16 of an inch and stuff. But look, we got UI stuff done, and I did more. Remember those things I said I was going to make a bigger version of for the public machines? There they are. And these too. We basically redid the entire UI because what gets tracked on the boards is changing. It's not the actual rock token anymore. We'll get to that in just a second. The problem is my printer's been giving me low ink cartridge notifications, so I fully expect to run out of ink before I get all this stuff printed. My game dev group is meeting tonight, so we got to get some stuff done. Printing out this, put this stuff on cardboard to make the actual boards. We got to make some more tokens for the players, and that means cutting out some stuff and painting it. Probably some other stuff too that I don't remember right now, but we'll get to it tonight. For a previous version, I made these little tracking icons for all the players. because you use those to track how your processes were going through your private machines. But now we're going to use them for tracking your individual rocks. Same idea, different way. But that means that your storage space is 5 for each player, so I need to make 1 extra of those for each player. Come on. The black is very light. I don't know. It's not the printer. Because when I moved these designs over from Adobe to Infinity, Infinity decided that the black that I had been using should be about maybe 80 or 90% black instead of full black. Like, this one is actual black. This one is the transferred black. It's fine. It's fine. It's not a big deal for today. Next step is to get these glued on some cardboard and cut them out. These smaller ones are the private machines that will go on the player boards. So they get on thinner cardboard because all those circles, they're gonna get cut out, and I'd rather not do that on huge cardboard. Plus, it doesn't need to be so tall. Okay, the moment of truth here for our new design on the storage section. So you see the little circles next to the processing symbols. So what I've got here is a drill bit. You could use anything, a pencil, a toothpick, or whatever, it doesn't matter. I happen to have this. So we're just gonna poke a little hole in there, wiggle it around a little bit, and then we have our people that we saved from the life game, and gonna have to make a bigger hole. But when you have the processing done, you put the little life person in the little hole, and that way you can keep track of what you have on the rock. Yes, I think that works. Now just a couple dozen more holes to poke in player boards. All right. How did it go? Well, the new UI worked out pretty well. Everybody agreed that it was an improvement over the last iteration. One of my friends in the dev group was suggesting a way to make it even more concrete. I'm picturing Scythe, like the player board from Scythe, but that's not exactly the direction I want to go. So I'm overall very happy with how the UI is, and I think that'll be the version that I take to Dice Tower West. The feedback on the actual game itself was a little more brutal. And I don't mean brutal in that the people in my game dev group were cruel or malicious or like, picking on little tiny things. It was just they were honest, which is what we get together for. The worst thing you can have feedback wise from a playtest is, oh yeah, it was good. I mean, that tells you nothing. Like, I want to know the things you liked, the things you didn't like, that kind of stuff. Thanks to them for being honest about what they thought of the version of Rock Brokers that they played. The problem is that it's a lot further from where I thought I was. I thought I was a lot closer to being finished. And right now it's kind of straddling a line between where it started as sort of a light engine builder and where it could be, a much more heavy engine builder. Like Terraforming Mars is an inspiration for this game. And it's really not satisfying either audience. It doesn't have enough cleverness or enough engine building, stuff there to satisfy the really, heavy gamers. But it also isn't simple enough to have, like, for instance, my 8-year-old son just pick it up and play and be fine with it. It's further away from being ready to pitch than I thought. But hey, that's good, right? I would be surprised if everything was all ready and done in that short of a time. I'm here to make a game, and the process of making the game is a lot of the fun in and of itself. I want to, amplify all the little intricacies, fix all the little bugs. There's a lot of work to do left and not a lot of time, because at the point that I'm filming this, Dice Tower West is in about 2.5 weeks. We'll do some modifications, do some updates, and then see what we get feedback-wise from a larger audience at Dice Tower. Thanks for watching the second dev diary of Rock Brokers. If you're a game dev, leave a comment about some UI in your game that you've had to redo and redo and redo. Tell me about it. And then if you're just a game player, tell us about a game that you wish had better UI or at least different UI. Subscribe if you want to see more content about triple digit games. And yeah, we'll see you on the next dev diary. Adios.